What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj, another NBA video. Today we're doing the best defensive player on every team, this time in the Eastern Conference. I'll do West tomorrow, probably. I'm hoping that I can get that done, but we're doing the Eastern Conference today. So let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. We go in alphabetical order every time. Before we get into this, I want y'all to smash that like button, comment something what you want to see in these NBA videos, subscribe if you like it, if you're new, and let's get going. So the Atlanta Hawks, they just acquired Dwight Howard this offseason, but I still wouldn't put him as their best defensive player. I would go with Paul Millsap. Millsap has established himself as a dynamic force of nature on that side of the floor. He averaged, I think, 1.7 steals and 1.7 blocks. I think he was one of the only players to do that. So he does a lot. He's versatile. He's quick for his size and his position. He does so much from the defensive end of the floor that you might not notice. He's always guarding his man. He knows his rotations well, gets steals, blocks. He does it all, and he's got probably one of the best defensive plus minuses in the NBA, at least last season. The Boston Celtics, this one was a little bit tricky. I almost went with Jay Crowder, but Avery Bradley in the end is just such a stifling perimeter defensive force. Not really credited as much as he should be for his defense. He was actually All-NBA first team this year. So the NBA, I mean, they know what's up. The league knows what's up. The coaching staff, those guys, they always know what's up. Avery Bradley is elite on the defensive end and actually very underrated given what he does on the offensive end as well. You know, if we quantified defense and offense as equals, if, you know, we all did, then Avery Bradley might be a top 50 player or even better. I don't know if you consider him top 50 right now. But you know, he could be in that top shooting guard conversation. With the Brooklyn Nets, I'm going with Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. This is just because there's like no good defensive players on the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, you look at their roster, Lopez and Lin are two guys that are scorers. I mean, they don't do a lot else than that. Their starting lineup is filled with guys that are just offensive oriented. Then there's Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, who I also said was their franchise player. RHJ is a guy that really locks up. He's young, he's athletic, he has all the tools to be a great defender in this league. The Charlotte Hornets, this one was another tricky one. I almost went with Nick Batum, but it ended up going with MKG, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. This guy is much more athletic, he's quicker, he's stronger than Nicholas Batum, and if it weren't for his injury issues with his shoulders, he'd be out there a lot more, and you guys would know a lot more about this guy. But MKG is a guy that's not a scorer or shooter type player. If you've seen his jump shot, you'd know exactly why. But his defense is some of the best you can find around the league. I mean, this guy really locks up. He's one of the best and most underrated defensive players in the league. The Chicago Bulls, it's Jimmy Butler. This might be pretty obvious. He really established himself. He made a name for himself in this league as a defensive player and hasn't lacked that in the last few years as he's made a trend upward with his offensive elite play. So yeah, he gets a spot here. He's one of the top steals, blocks guy for his position every year. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's the king, LeBron James. I mean, this team doesn't have any one perimeter lockdown defensive player. Iman Shumpert is very good, Tristan Thompson as well, but LeBron is the best defensive force on this team. He's huge, he's fast, he's strong, he's got all the great physical attributes, and when he's putting his mind to it, if he goes 100% on defense, he's absolutely going to be a problem for anyone that he's guarding. With the Detroit Pistons, I could have went with KCP, maybe Tobias Harris, but, you know, I ended up coming back to Andre Drummond just because he's so big and he's really good as a rim protector. His block numbers could be higher, but Andre Drummond is a guy that really, honestly, is just such like a presence down low. I mean, you always, like, if you're driving down the lane, you see this guy in the lane, you don't want to go in there. I mean, he's like that type of guy. The Indiana Pacers, I went with PG-13, Paul George. For a number of reasons, there isn't really another defender on this team that's his caliber. They got a lot of pretty good offensive players on this team this offseason, but he's still the clear-cut best defensive player. He does everything. On the defensive end, he guards the best matchup, night in, night out. He gets steals. He's always top of the league in steals for his position. It seems like blocks shots here and there. I mean, he really does it all. He's super lengthy and athletic, fast. He can keep up with just about anyone. For the Miami Heat, this one should be as obvious as any on there. It's last year's block leader, Hassan Whiteside. This is a guy you don't want to go in and, like, point guards and shooting guards, slashing guards, fear this guy when they play Miami. I mean, you really don't want to play this guy if you're a slashing guard and don't have a reliable jump shot, because he's always there, and whenever someone's driving in, he wipes the shot away. That's why if you're going up against a guy like Russell Westbrook or John Wall or James Harden, guys that really like to get into the lane, it's great to have a guy like this back there because he can wipe shots away. Now, he does have a little trouble with a guy like DeMarcus Cousins, who's much stronger, bigger, able to back him down, get a shot off over him, but when it comes to help defense, there's really almost no one better than Hassan Whiteside. For the Milwaukee Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, the Greek freak is cracking this list once again. His length is some of the best you can find in the NBA. I'm sure y'all have taken note to that. One of the favorite players, fan favorite players among the greatest players in the league. Giannis is just so long and athletic, and the 6'11" point guard. I mean, of course he's going to be able to guard someone if he's got arms as long as, well, the court, basically. He covers it all. I mean, he could really play any position, so this one just clicks. For the New York Knicks, I'm going with Joakim Noah. I mean, Noah hasn't played a lot of games since the season where he won, or maybe, he played a little bit in 2014-15. But when he won the Defensive Player of the Year award in 2013-14, that was when he was in his prime, and I don't think he's lost a whole lot of defensive smarts, basketball IQ. I think he's still great in the mind when it comes to defending guys at the rim, not fouling, making guys miss. I mean, honestly, there aren't a lot of better centers when it comes to just that. He's not a huge block guy, at least not anymore, but what he does is he's just a great defensive hustle player. He's incredibly quick for a center. He gets steals. He's always there to contest the shot, and he does a lot of the things that you don't always appreciate, that don't go in the stat sheet, but he's a really top-notch defensive player. For the Orlando Magic, it's newly acquired power forward Serge Ibaka. Ibaka is renowned for his block skills. I mean, they used to call him a blocker. He kind of fell off a little bit as a defensive player. At least he was much better back when, I think, in the 2011-12, 12-13, maybe even 13-14 seasons where he was going crazy when they were in the finals. I mean, that was really the time when Serge Ibaka was a huge threat as a defensive player. Now it doesn't seem like he is as much of, you don't really have to look out for him as much because he's, I don't know. I don't really know what's been going on with him. Maybe there's like some effort issues with him because it doesn't seem like he's been as relevant recently, but this guy can definitely still do it. Philadelphia 76ers, I went with Nerlens Noel. We don't know exactly how good Joel Embiid is going to be on the defensive end. Nerlens Noel, he's like the bona fide defensive guy. He's a shot blocking monster. He's just a great rim protector, and that just separates him from the interior bigs on this team. Jahlil Okafor, not a defender whatsoever. Joel Embiid might be a pretty good defensive player, but we just haven't seen him yet. And there's just no guards on this roster, and the guards that are on this roster are offensive oriented. There's no one even close to Nerlens Noel. For the Toronto Raptors, I thought this over a lot, but I ended up going with Kyle Lowry. So it might seem surprising. DeMar Carroll was a candidate for this, but Kyle Lowry is underrated in terms of his ability to stay in front of guys and to pester guys. He's really annoying. I mean, that's something you notice. That's something not a lot of point guards are going to do. Because point guards expend so much energy on both sides of the ball, at least, but especially on offense, because they're always get their team into their sets. Kyle Lowry is a top-notch point guard in the NBA, so he has to spend time getting his team going and being aggressive on the offensive end, putting up those 20-some points and 7 or 8 assists, and he's a great rebounder. He has so much energy out on the court, and he pesters guys on the defensive end. He really makes life hard for opposing point guards, and he doesn't really get blown by a lot. I mean, he's pretty fast, quick, He's got the strength to guard the best of guards in the NBA. I mean, he's really underrated when it comes to that. Last one for the Washington Wizards. Ever since Nene left, there just hasn't been a dominant defensive big man in Washington for a long time. Otto Porter and Bradley Beal aren't exactly defensive stoppers, so, cancel out the options you have. John Wall is the best defensive player on this team. I know y'all have seen his incredible chase down block compilations, whatever. John Wall is unbelievable shot blocker. Like, he gets some of the most ridiculous acrobatic blocks you'll ever see. Best shot blocking point guard in the league for sure. But John Wall is also one of the steals leaders usually. So he gets steals and blocks. He's athletic enough to keep guys in front of him. He doesn't gamble. I mean, he gambles a little bit, but overall, he's still the clear-cut best defensive player on this team. So that's going to wrap this video up. I'll do Western Conference defensive players tomorrow, but this was the East. If y'all enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, an idea for me to do. Subscribe. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.